Greetings, Guardians. Welcome to the 53rd episode of the DTR podcast. I am your host, Jay, the content manager here at DTR. And joining me this week are my wonderful co-hosts. First up, we have Dan Finity. Dan, what's up, man?
Hey, guys. What's going on?
What's up? I saw you guys laugh. Is it because I just, like, screamed, kind of?
You just do it. You do it every time.
Every time?
Every time, man.
Next up, we have Jay Rambo 9119. What's up, man?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Our guest this week is Tefty from DCP. What's up, man? Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for coming on. Thank you. Alright, guys. So, we have a ton of things to talk about tonight. But as always, I do have a few announcements to make. So, you guys can find us on iTunes, Podbean, and the Google Play Store at Destiny Tracker Podcast. We do record the show every Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern live on twitch.tv/DestinyTrack. If you guys would like to support the show, you guys can subscribe on iTunes and make sure to follow us on Podbean and also leave a review on iTunes. Your feedback is super important. You guys can also use our promo code DTR for 10% off your GamerSubs GG order. Alright, guys, so let's jump straight into it. Teft, I'm going to throw it over to you, man. Do you mind telling us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I mostly stream on Twitch. I obviously am a co-host on the Destiny Community Podcast. I am a alumni of Planet Destiny, I would say. used to do stuff for Planet Destiny. That was about a year ago. Yeah, I've and obviously a huge fan of Destiny. I've been playing it since the beta, and I've loved Bungie games also, and here I am getting to play Destiny 2 as well. I have in front of an audience, which I love. It's awesome.
Nice. So, what is your opinion on the PC version of the game?
Really bad. Not enough pixels, not enough frames either. Also, hand cannons just are too accurate, you know? It's amazing. I mean, I've been having so much fun playing on the PC version. When I was at the Dre event, or the Destiny 2 reveal event at Hawthorne, California, you know, we played the PlayStation version, and it was great. I was like, oh my god, it's more Destiny. I'm very excited about this. And then I played the PC version. I was like, whoa, this is something different. I cannot wait to get my hands on the PC version. And I still feel that way to this day. And with the release was, you know, the console, which was fun. I enjoy that. And then the PC came out, and I was like, this is just such an enjoyable experience. I enjoy playing Destiny, and getting to play it on PC is just even more.
Sweet. All right, J-Ram, you're up first, man, for our Q&A.
All right. So, first, just you give me yes or no for this question. Are you excited for the new DLC that's going to come in December?
Absolutely.
All right.
100%.
Now, that being said, I do have a couple questions for you regarding that.
Okay.
So we know Bungie's listening. We you know, over the last couple of weeks, we've read the TWABs and everything. What are some fundamental changes that you would like to see coming to Destiny 2 with the DLC? Now, what I mean by fundamental are like, these are the ones that absolutely are essential to kind of mold or change the way the game currently is. I think it's safe to assume that there are some common themes that are developing with this game. For example, one common theme would be the raid is an awesome raid for mechanic. You know, if you're a mechanic heavy person. Yeah. Whereas another theme could be the lack of endgame. All right. So just to reiterate, what are some fundamental changes that you would like to see in the first DLC?
If they could add endgame content, I mean, that would be my number one choice. Coming from a perspective of realism, I just don't know if they have it prepared. They have that perspective ready to be able to develop and deliver by the time the DLC comes out. So I don't know if that's going to be realistic, but if I had a choice, I would absolutely want some sort of end-game content that's been developed that would support what we already have. Like, yes, we have these lost sectors, we have strikes, we have adventures, we have content that we just don't really play because there's no real carrot at the end of the stick right now. I would love stuff added to that, but also if there is some sort of like Prison of Elders type of thing that they've been working on that could parlay into endgame content that's grindable, that would be amazing. Because the main thing is that while the raid is a mechanic heavy raid that's fun to play, in my opinion, the reason to grind it is very limited, if at all. Like, I mean, prestige mode, it feels like an achievement goal. You get your achievement, and that's it. You do. I don't have a desire to keep on grinding prestige, personally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, to kind of piggyback off of that, you say it would be nice if they introduced stuff. There's no carrot on the stick, or the carrot on the stick is either too far away that we can't see it, or it's non-existent altogether. What stuff would you be referring to?
See, this is one of these things where how much time have they had to adapt to how the community has responded? Because like I want them to fulfill that talk of what do you get on your 10th Better Devils? That yeah, like that's the type of stuff that we need. If we're gonna keep on getting roles that are locked, then there needs to be a purpose to recollect that stuff. And there needs to be a mod system that's going to be interesting, because right now the mod system is very bland and just it's a few points towards your build that that basically people only care about recovery at this point. I mean, resilience and mobility does help or does affect things, but really, like, you just need recovery, and then you're pretty much good to go on most builds. They need to add interesting things to go after in that sense. And again, I just don't know if they're going to be able to deliver that in the DLC, because it's only been a couple months for them to respond to this type of feedback. I sincerely hope that they were aware that the mod system was simple and that they knew that it needed to be fleshed out further on with like season 2 and so on and so forth. So I'm hoping that they're ready to correct the course in that direction. But big part of me thinks that some of this was a surprise and we're only going to get a partial piece of it. That's going to, yeah.
Okay. Next question. You ready?
Yeah.
Your answer so far, beautiful. I mean, they're awesome. Now, you could definitely make an argument that there's some sort of criticism with this game. All right.
Sure.
So, do you, in your honest opinion, and I'd like you to kind of expand upon it if you can.
Okay.
Do you think with all the design changes and the philosophical changes within the game, do you think Bungie took 1 step forward and 2 steps back? Or do you think the direction that they're in is perfect and all they need to do is kind of realign a little bit, but they took no steps back?
There's definitely a gray area right there. So while they made a lot of great changes and a lot of great steps forward, they definitely not communicating with the live team from Destiny 1 and coordinating with some of those changes to come forward, I think was definitely a fail on their end. You know, like they should have had a reason to do strikes. Like, taking away heroic strikes doesn't make sense. From somebody who's played Destiny 1, heroic strikes were one of those things where it's like, okay, we can go do strikes and get a particular type of loot or reward. And having that gone was really weird. Like, that was something that that was part of my like weekly ritual on stream. I'd love to go into the heroics, see what kind of modifiers were there. It would change the gameplay every week. And it's gone. So that was a weird decision. There's a lot of weird decisions. And then I think there's some good decisions. A lot of people don't like the change from primary, secondary, and heavy to the energy and kinetic and then power weapons. I actually like it. I think
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, I think it makes some interesting build options. And also in the end of Destiny 1 in the PvP meta, it was like if you died, then you were relegated to whatever primary you had. And let's say you had like a hand cannon. Well, then you were limited to those engagements that a hand cannon would excel at until special popped up, or if you're using the icebreaker, until your icebreaker recharged a few times, or even sidearm too. But it made a very limited focus to what kind of engagements were available to you in that sense. And I think having the 2 primaries essentially opens up a lot of doors for engagements. Is the time to kill a little on the slow side? Sure. Is 4v4 everything questionable? Sure. Like, I'd love to see Rumble come back. I'd love to see a 6v6. I even like 2v2, 3v3. Like, I know that they're trying to prevent population dilution, but it's at the expense of players' enjoyment. And if players aren't enjoying it, then the population dilution is going to happen regardless. So those things are kind of weird that they decided to move forward to. It feels a little bit like they sold us the game as a $60 title, and that's how everybody approached it. But they were actually intending it to be a game that is planned to be live and evolve over the next several years. And I think that's the biggest disconnect with the marketing team and what we got, is that this game isn't meant to be like here's everything, now you're satisfied, you know, here's your 1,000-hour game. it's a game that's going to change and evolve, and the sandbox is going to get adjusted, and there's new things that are going to be added with each season and everything, and that wasn't communicated very well from the marketing team. So a lot of people are upset in that sense, being like, hey, this isn't Destiny 1 at all, and there's a lot of things that are missing, and they didn't do a good job of telling us that, well, that's because it's going to evolve over time.
Do you think $60 then was the correct price point, or do you think it should have been like $40 or $50?
I don't mind the $60 price point. I think that's fine, because I mean, these games are incredibly expensive. You know, like, it's game development is such a risk and such an expensive cost. I mean, there's hundreds of people that have to be employed to focus on the game to make content. So I don't mind the price point. I think I'm just trying to be realistic into how people are approaching their criticisms and why they feel this way. And it seems a lot like Bungie was like, here's this complete Destiny experience that's coming over from Destiny 1. And so we expected these things from Destiny 1, end of year 3. And we got essentially vanilla Destiny 2 with a lot of things that will be coming essentially. And they didn't tell us that, you know?
Do you think do you think in the long run, or better yet, let me say it this way, in the short term, do you think that hurts the optimism when it comes towards Destiny 2? Sure,
in the short term, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you can see it across the board. People are like, oh my God, this game, I can't believe this. I can't, you know, the criticisms are very loud right now. Some have very strong footing, and then some of them are kind of like, okay, maybe you need to take a break and go outside and go play a different game or something.
Get some vitamin D.
Yeah, you might have an imbalance in some vitamins, need to correct that a bit, then have an appropriate look at the game. But yeah, I mean, like I said, it's a very gray area situation. Okay. They obviously made some mistakes, but they obviously made some great things at the same time. So
perfect. All right, I got 2 more questions.
Sure. I got answers.
I've been thinking about this all week, man. I've been excited. Awesome. All right, so you are one of the few people that have played this game so much. Mm-hmm. Do you have any idea how many hours you've put in?
In Destiny 2?
Destiny just as a whole.
Oh, as a whole. Well, in Destiny 1, I was approaching 3,000 hours.
Okay.
In this game, Destiny 2, I think a month ago I was at a couple hundred, so.
Okay, so I would say it's safe to assume that you understand Destiny.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
If you had an opportunity to go into a room with Bungie, and there was a humongous whiteboard on the wall with nothing written on it, and they said, Tefty, take us to the promised land. Tell us what you'd like to see where would you like to see this game go in 3 years?
Oh my God.
Where would you like to see the game? I know. I'm telling you, I've been thinking about this all week.
And also 3 years? My God, that's a loaded question, Jay.
Yeah. well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like you know what I mean? The whiteboard's on the wall. Like if it helps you out, if I was in that position, the first thing I would say is, okay, let's see how far down the rabbit hole we can go with the Vex.
Okay.
They're my favorite race. You know, I love everything about them. So that's one. If I were to pick something, it would be let's exploit how much we can actually tell a story about the Vex. Where would you like to see the game go?
Okay, in a 3-year perspective, I think I wouldn't necessarily dive into story content if I was talking to Bungie, because that's like the surprise as a gamer that I love seeing, like where they decide to take these adventures and all that. Like I want to be surprised about that. But if in terms of 3 years from now, what I'd love to see Destiny and how its ecosystem essentially is like, I want lots of end game options. Like the things that we are talking about today that Destiny 2 is missing, a lot of that really does need to be in there. There needs to be a reason to recollect legendaries. There needs to be reasons to grind content. Like I'd love at least 2 raids a year. You know, people are speculating right now about like new raid content and what that means, and it's obviously most likely not going to be a raid. But man, it would be incredible if they were able to put out raids that also maintain a certain quality. If it was 2 a year, I'd love that. So then by the end of the 3-year period, we've got, what is that, six raids in Destiny 2. Also, I think a lot of the problem that's happened with Destiny 2 is that they decided to move away from Destiny 1. And some of the changes, like I said, were good. But all that content from Destiny 1 is valuable content. And I know there's a large part of the community that will say, reskinned. This is garbage. I can't believe you're reskinning all this stuff. And the fact is, it takes a lot of time to make assets, and they have all those assets. And if they were to start bringing over those assets from Destiny 1 as free updates, not paid DLC, like that's what I don't want. I don't want to have to repay for the stuff that I did in Destiny 1. And that's a lot of people's problems with like the exotics returning. But if they bring those over in updates that are free to help fuel the ecosystem to make players happy and potentially fund more Eververse transactions, I think that would be great. I'd love to see a lot of that stuff come back over at the end of the 3-year cycle. And obviously lots of new content that brings into endgame stuff. Like I want things that are grindable. I don't know if you guys have played Warframe. Warframe is very grindy, and there's a lot of reasons to play Warframe if you are a goal-focused person. I'd like more goal-focused things come into Destiny 2 at the end of that cycle. So 3 years is a long time, though. Yeah, long conversation, Bungie.
All right, well, that is it. I am exhausted of questions. Thank you very much for answering.
Awesome. Yeah, that's my pleasure.
Dan.
Okay, normally I only have one question. And that's how many hunters you have across all platforms.
All platforms?
This week I have 2 questions.
All right.
So that's my first one.
Okay. Do deleted hunters count?
Yes.
All right, let's see. I had 3 hunters on Xbox One when I started. And then I started deleting. Actually, I deleted one of them, I believe, to then re-level again because of the Forever 29 problem in early Destiny Vanilla. So I think that's 4 before I started on PS4. And then PS4 added 1, so that's 5. And then I've got one on Xbox for Destiny 2. So that's 6. And then obviously one on PS4. That's 7. And then I made my PC one last week. So 8 hunters.
8? Yeah!
I think that's the most so far.
Yeah.
The most.
Nice.
He's the one that's gone the farthest back.
Yeah.
That too.
Yeah.
I had a buddy that was triple warlock, and I would just constantly make fun of him for sleuthing. So I don't understand your warlockism. So it's ironic now because like I'm always playing as a warlock nowadays because of Blink and Devour.
Yeah, Blink is pretty neat.
Yep.
So, if each class were a musical genre in your eyes, what would they be?
Whew. Let's see.
That's actually a really good question.
I feel like Titan is going to be pretty heavy on the rock side. Like, slightly metal, but, it's like a grunge metal type of mixture right there. Warlocks are going to be very introspective and singer-songwriting, Okay. They're gonna have a lot to say in their lyrics.
Your bright eyes, your mountain goats.
Yeah, so like genre-wise, it's gonna cross those areas right there. So it's gonna be very introspective, introspective music that's gonna be singer-songwriter, but could also be kind of like the emo band type of stuff going on. Yeah. And then hunters,
Emo.
Yeah?
Really?
Well, they got the knife.
Oh, I feel like.
Oh my gosh.
Hunters are difficult actually because they could represent so many different genres.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think of the essence. It's like actually I kind of feel like Journey. The band Journey. It's like, yeah, I mean, I think of Cade, and I think of Hunters, and then being lone wolves, but very optimistic about themselves. Yeah.
Don't stop believing that their gear will change.
Yeah, don't stop, yeah.
Maybe they'll get resilience one of these days.
Yeah, they're really downtrodden right now, but they ain't stopping on their believings. Good.
All right.
Yeah.
That's perfect. Yeah,
nice.
That's it from me.
All right. So, I do want to give our audience a quick update. We're going to have our Leviathan raid race next weekend, November 18th. I'm super excited for this one. We're gonna have all 3 platforms: Xbox, PC, and PS4. So far we have 16 teams that are going to dive into the Leviathan, and whichever team comes out first wins a nice trophy. So I'm really excited to see that. That's going to be next weekend, November 18th, Saturday, November 18th at 4 p.m. Eastern here on our Twitch channel.
Awesome.
All right, guys. Nice. So, question: what is the most fun you guys had in D1 or D2 this week? Or it could just be in gaming in general. I will go first because mine is actually not in either D1 or D2. I've been playing a lot of COD World War II lately, so I'm actually enjoying that game a lot. So I'm having fun in that, especially in headquarters at the 1v1 arena. I'm enjoying that. All right, J-Ram.
Okay, I'll go both. I'll go this week, and then I'll give you like a retrospective answer. All right. This week, I really enjoyed the Winding Cove. You know, Tefty, I was listening to your podcast today, and this question came up, and as soon as the question came up, I said, gamers are like water; they will follow the path of least resistance. Yep. And as soon as I said that, T-Rex said it. I'm like, shit! I can't say that now on the stream because it's gonna come off, you know. So I needed to put that, you know, gamers are like water; they will follow that path of least resistance. So. I was very fortunate. I had like 2 hours to spare, so I literally just grinded the hell out of that while watching Curb Your Enthusiasm. Love that show. Yeah. Love it. And I ended up getting all of the new Monarchy gear for my Titan. So I got everything. Nice. Yeah, everything. Even guns. I got them all. So that's nice. And now, if you wait a second here, I will look. I have, let's see how many shaders I got of this bad boy.
Do you know how many tokens you turned in? About in 2 hours?
Dude. Like 600 or maybe 800. It was a lot. Just put it this way.
Pretty nice.
You got the new Monarchy Regalia. I have 88 shaders of that, and then the Diamond shader I have 115.
That's good.
Yeah, well, so I can't reuse them, so I got to make sure I get them while they're here.
You got to stock up, absolutely. Are you excited about that sword?
I could care less about the sword.
Okay.
I'm more of a rocket launcher guy, so as soon as I got on PC, the Sins of the Past, I was like, game over, I got it.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure.
I tell you what does blast my nips a little bit is the Dead Orbit auto rifle.
That's good, yeah.
Oh my god, is that good? It doesn't hit as hard as Skaithlock, but the fact that it has the high caliber rounds and the higher the higher fire rate. You can clearly see enemies just being pushed back.
Yep.
So if you're worried about bathers in the raid, just hit them with that thing, and you will push them back. So it's beautiful. A retrospective, what was my favorite time in gaming would had to have been, honestly, and I hate going to it because it's such a cliche answer, but I remember the first time I jumped down into the Vault of Glass raid where you had to defend the confluxes. That moment for me was a definitive part in my life where it said this game is entirely different from anything else I've ever seen.
Yeah, for sure.
You know? Now there was while I went to while I was in undergrad and then graduate school, I didn't play any video games, so I was like 100% focused on my studies. As soon as I got my master's degree, I was like, "F this." I still had my graduation regalia. I went right to Best Buy, bought a TV and a PlayStation. That was my gift to me. And I got back into gaming. And then when Destiny rolled around, I was keeping an eye on it at E3 and everything. My first raid was Crota. Luckily for me, one of my kind of stupid, but one of my students. Now, before anybody jumps any conclusions, I teach at a university, so they're all adults. He goes, Professor Float, you should check out this raid with us. And I'm like, yeah, I don't even know what a raid is. I know that it's that skull icon, but I don't know. I've never done it. And we did Crota real fast. That was enjoyable. And then he said, you guys want to do Vault of Glass? And I'm like, yeah, sure. And like I said, I remember jumping down and hearing that the music, boom, kind of hit. I'm like, holy shit, this is badass, man. This is something entirely different. So that's my overall, like, you know, if I'm really thinking about it retrospectively, that's my favorite gaming moment within the Destiny universe for myself.
Wow. I actually did not know that. I've been talking to you for more than a year.
Well, that's because all you ask me is stupid questions.
Tefty,
I love you, buddy.
Is it my turn?
Yes.
Okay. So this week, getting to experience the faction weapons on PC. It's definitely up there. Probably raiding in Leviathan. I've really been enjoying raiding Leviathan on PC. Obviously on console was great, but then it kind of, because the carrot isn't really there, it kind of I'm always talking about frames and field of view and all that, so it can get a little annoying. Having none of those restrictions and the freedom of aim with the mouse and keyboard on PC, everything is refreshing right now to me. So getting to raid and use those weapons as well. I was using that guiding star, the dead orbit auto rifle as well in the raid. Was feeling really nice. It was great. It was a great experience. Overall in Destiny though, Yep. It was when I got the Galahorn over my buddy, and it was during Reset Raiders, and it was myself and Cowboy Gruff. He had not gotten the Galahorn yet, and I pulled it from the Death Singer. I was like, yes, I got the Galahorn, and he was like, I'm done. I'm done with this game.
Do you miss those moments? Because they're not, for me personally, there's none of that in D2 for me.
Yeah, we talked about that a lot in podcast, in Destiny Community podcast this week, and Holtz brought it up. He was like, "What's your favorite exotic, and where did you get it?" And the "where did you get it" is unanimously blah. Yeah. It has no real point of reference to an emotional moment, and that needs to come back. Okay. It really does.
Yeah, and Bungie has to figure it out somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Dan.
This week I teamed up with friend of the show, and I think friend of ours, McLauser, and just whipped through Leviathan real quick on the PS4 side. It was super fun. We did that on Tuesday. I wasn't able to do I didn't do, as a point of principle, the grind for the faction tokens.
Oh, in the Winding Cove?
Yeah, I didn't do that this week on stream, but I totally did it off stream.
Off stream?
Holtzman said he streamed it for 10 hours.
Yeah, I did it off stream for 15 minutes, and I was like, I can't do this.
Yeah, after a while, I was just like, yeah, no.
It's kind of like the Two Blues. Two Blues.
Yeah. Two Blues was exciting though, because you get into a rhythm of killing her. And I would just be like, oh, okay, does everybody got the, you got the tether, you got the golden, you got the swords, raise ladder. And if it got off point, then it would be like, okay, well, we got to get back on the horse. Where Winding Cove is just, you get into a race with whoever's in your instance.
Mm-hmm.
That's the most exciting thing, is when you see somebody who's spawning in front of you or behind you, you're like, oh, am I gaining or losing ground? I got to up my numbers.
You lock eyes with that person just across the field.
Look, I see you, Titan, skating over, trying to shoulder charge.
You stay away.
All right. Sweet. So let's dive into our Trials of the Nine talk. So last week's map was Javelin 4, and the game mode was Survival. I didn't play too much Trials last weekend. I played on Saturday, and it's just Trials. And then I hopped right back into COD. So did you guys play Trials of the Nine last week? Dan?
Yeah.
All right. Dan, did you?
Yeah. I played a little bit after we got done last week on the podcast.
Nice.
Got about 3 wins in with Suited Thunder. Improvements. But other than that, didn't really get that far. Didn't really have time to do too much else.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Teft?
Yeah, did a couple tickets. It was a lot of fun. Did it on PC.
Flawless?
Yeah, went flawless both times.
Good.
I had OP players with me, so it was a cakewalk. Yeah, I enjoyed it actually. The changes that they made to survival, I thought were
I do like
way
the
better.
Changes. Yes.
Much needed improvement.
the matches went by quicker. I enjoyed that. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. They, a lot of people talk about how they don't like if you're down wins, or I mean down lives, you should the cap point should spawn every single time. I don't know if I necessarily feel like that, honestly. Like if you're down lives, you have to be aggressive and you have to get those kills. And if you don't, if you aren't aggressive and don't get those kills, then should you be given like a second chance at the cap point? That might be a very unpopular opinion, but that's kind of how it is. Like if you already lost your lives, then you're going to make the other team work harder then to try to hold that point and potentially get just murdered because they have to sit out by the point, So
Yeah.
JRAM, did you play Trials of the 9 last week?
You really have to ask? No, Jay, I didn't.
All right, I had to ask, man. Always have to ask.
Not yet. I will get into it.
right.
Just transitioning, and for me, it's the end of the semester coming up, so work is getting a little bit more intense. Once Christmas break hits, I'll be gaming with no pants on all the time again. It'll be fun.
All right. So we play a little game here on the show where we guess how many kills a certain weapon received in the Trials of the 9 last weekend. So this week we're going to guess Uriel's gift, and the kills are in the millions. So the lowest number you could bid is 1 kill, and the highest number you could bid is 10 million kills. Hint, again, it's in the millions. All right. So again, this is kind of like The Price is Right. So
and this is all three, right? PC, just to reiterate that.
Yes, it's on all 3 platforms, PC, Xbox One, and PS4. To show you how this goes, Teft, JRAM, you want to go first, man?
Damn it, I hate going first. I like going last because then I always just say
I'm sorry.
Don't worry about it. I will jump on this grenade.
Yeah.
I'll jump on this grenade. Relax. I'm gonna say Uriel's gift got 2.3 million kills.
2.3 million, all 3 platforms. All right. Dan.
Okay. I'm going 5.4.
5.4. All right, and
Wow.
Teft.
I don't know these numbers historically, what they average. So I'm going to take a whack. I'm going to say 3.4 million.
3.4 million. All right, guys.
Split the difference.
So you guys are all actually under. It's actually 7 million kills.
Holy shit!
Hold on.
Wow.
Did I just win?
Yes,
Dan
you did.
won. Yeah,
Yes,
Dan, you won.
Without going over.
Oh, I will accept this award.
You're
for
going
every-
to Hawaii. Congratulations, Dan.
This is for the little guy.
Yeah.
This is for the guy who never made it to the lighthouse. This is for the guy who's never seen the big floating blue head. This is for you.
And
Thanks,
then
Pony.
Maida came in second place with 4.7 million kills. So Uriel's gift is number 1 at 7 million kills flat. And
7 million is a lot.
968,000. Yes.
Jay, do you know what number 3 was by chance?
Number 3 was Last Hope with 2.6 million.
Does Last Hope have high caliber rounds?
No.
No.
It is a sidearm. Oh no. I don't
It's got a ridiculously fast time to kill. That's what it's got.
Yeah.
It's got a badass clip.
Here have all the bullets.
Yeah.
No, I was just wondering because there's been a lot of talk about the high caliber rounds in PvP, and the top 2 guns both have that equipped.
Yeah.
So I was wondering to see if number 3 had that equipped also, and then you can kind of see a theme develop.
Yeah.
For sure. It's actually, I feel like high caliber rounds are more effective on console for a couple of reasons. One, obviously the sandbox is a little bit different, but 2, the field of view is closer in. And I don't know if you guys have noticed this on PC. If you have like a 100 or over field of view, you get less shake in general from the camera. And recoil feel is different, obviously, because it is a different sandbox, but also because it's just farther out. So when you're getting hit by high caliber rounds, it's also not as noticeable with like the field of view being back down.
It's funny that you mentioned that field of view thing because getting into PC gaming, Destiny 2 is really the first game, and I didn't realize how much that field of view affects you until A, you start running, and then B, you throw a grenade. And you're like, holy shit, I just threw that thing like 100,000 yards.
Yeah.
That's how it feels. It feels so good. To say this game feels great on PC is an understatement. Like, it is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really feels good on PC, both with mouse and keyboard and a controller.
Yeah, completely agree.
I really enjoyed the transition between mouse and keyboard and controller on PC. Like, you could use your controller first, and then you could just tap on your mouse, and it switches back over to mouse and keyboard. Like, well, I don't know if other games do that, because D2 on PC is my first PC game. So
I do that. Yeah. I do that with the menu. As soon as I hit the menu button on my controller, my hand goes right on the mouse. To my mouse. Yeah, navigate real fast. It's so
much faster with the mouse.
Nice.
I like that a lot. Oh yeah. So yeah, 7 million kills, Uriel's gift, guys. Nice. Trials this week is on Eternity, and the mode is Countdown. So I'm really curious to see. I think Mida was in the lead. I checked the API. I think Mida's in the lead this week so far. So far, yeah. All right, so let's talk about the raid. Did you guys complete the raid challenge this week? The raid challenge is Gauntlet. J-Ram, you mind explaining it?
Basically, I think the easiest way to say it is you just can't do the same job twice. So the little device that we used was RSP. If you run first, you do support second, which means you punch the scion and you shoot the bottom triangle. And then your next job would be plates, where you jump on the plate and shoot the top triangle. So we tried to keep it as crisp and as easy as possible. The fewer the words, I think, the better. Meaning that don't call out, like, if the middle circle is blinking or if it's red, don't call out top and bottom. Just call out middle, and then make sure you have faith in your team that they're paying attention. They shoot the other two triangles. But basically, that's the challenge. So if you think about it in terms of prestige mode, it's prestige mode. You just can't do the same job twice.
Okay.
Just if I want to add just a little bit, I think the easiest way to explain it is that you can't have the same job twice. It's actually, you can't be the plate person twice.
Yeah.
So you can be the runner twice?
Yeah, you can definitely be the runner twice. I did it multiple times where somebody ran twice.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
You just cannot touch a plate on. So if you were the plate person on the first round, you cannot touch a plate on the second or third round. Otherwise, challenge will fail. Yeah.
Wasn't this challenge supposed to be 2 men enter, 1 man leaves, or something like that?
So that's the name of the emblem.
That's the name of the emblem, right?
I believe it's something like that. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. I wonder
explaining this challenge to people who are new is so much more difficult than actually doing the challenge, because you're like, you can't be on the plate twice. Well, okay, no, I mean, you're going to be going to different plates, but it's per round. Okay, there's 3 rounds. It's you can't.
Dan, did you complete the raid challenge this week?
Absolutely, and we used the same method that J-Ram described, only McGlauser called it red sexy peppers.
I dig that.
Oh, Glauser.
Yeah.
So,
very funny.
Do you guys find the Leviathan raid challenges more challenging than the ones in previous raids? Teft, I'm going to throw that at you, man. You first.
So far, no.
Okay.
Yeah, well, that's a tough one, because usually the earlier encounters were easier challenge-wise, although Vosik was difficult. Vosik was a tough challenge. Yeah, I think these are a little bit easier right now. I'm interested to see. Wait, so we've seen 3 of them so far, right? We've
just.
Oh no, we haven't seen dogs.
Yeah,
right?
we haven't seen dogs. No.
Yeah, dogs could be difficult, or it could be you just have to kill the dogs in 1 round, which might be just easy peasy.
Yeah.
Callus could be a real bitch, but we just don't know. And so far, like, they've been pretty straightforward challenges where I'm like, okay, sure.
So how do you guys feel about that? Like, these challenges being, because do they actually live up to the term challenges so far? Because we've seen, like, in King's Fall with the War Priest, it was you just had to down them in 2 rounds. It was, or am I reading?
No, War Priest, you couldn't grab the. You couldn't grab the
you couldn't grab the aura. It was I think Oryx was the most challenging to me. I found Oryx the most challenging.
Well, I mean,
really?
Golgroth, everybody had to get the gaze.
That was my favorite challenge.
That one
running around. Dan, sorry.
That one, I feel like the element of difficulty for those challenges really weighed heavily into the bullet sponge that was behind it. So,
true.
like, with these, I mean, you don't really have any boss that you have to hide from or anything like that. So you just have to work the mechanic, and once you work the mechanic out, it's easy.
Yeah, you're right. That's a good point.
That's true.
I think that's kind of what I'm feeling right now, because if you compare any of that stuff to Axis, I mean, my God, Axis is a challenge
is hard.
Yeah, that's difficult, and getting people to coordinate and be able to think quick on their toes when they're trying to learn the encounter at the same time, like that's really difficult. So I feel like these haven't been too difficult, honestly.
Right.
Axis was a lot of fun to do. Also, Axis challenge.
It almost seems like doing the challenge mode makes the encounter easier. And the only time I never felt like that was with the Axis. You know, when it was like, all right, listen, banana heads. If that little thing lights up, you better slam the hell out of that thing, or else I'm booting your ass. Get the hell, for real. I mean, how many times have you wiped because you heard someone go, "Fuck, I didn't slam it down." You're like, right.
Orcs was the same way. Orcs was the same way. Once you figured out the challenge mode, it was like, oh, this is the easiest.
It was the easiest.
Orcs was extremely easy.
That's true. Well, I only say it was challenging because of the servers where it was lag and the ogres were like move sometimes.
Yeah, but that is not is the challenge difficult. It's the game glitching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's not a fundamental thing. That's an outside, factor.
That's true.
Someone would shoot him with Outbreak Prime, and he'd just Kool-Aid Man through the back door.
You guys ever get the glitch where there's too many orbs on the ground, so you're in mid sword swipe and you start like skating across, and like the physics get screwed up? You just start flying everywhere in the arena. It's amazing. This happened a few times. It's because too many orbs would get into the center of the arena, and I would be shooting a sniper rifle, and all of a sudden it would lock up into one angle with the sniper. I'd be like, "What's going on?" And then my character starts just skating. I'm like, "Whoa!" And then I moved right into one of the detonation orbs, and it's a wipe, obviously, from that. Yeah, that was an interesting glitch.
That's a funny glitch.
Good times.
Oh,
yeah.
Those were the good times, yeah. So yeah, I'm really curious to see the Kalish challenge. I'm really curious to see how that's going to be.
What do we think it's going to be?
Yeah, let's speculate.
The only thing I can think of, and this is just off the top of my head right now, is the fact that when everyone gets transported into the skull room, there are 3 orbs up front, but at the very end of the skull room, after you're done killing the skulls, there's 4. Why put 4 in there if you're only meant to have 3 guys in there? So maybe the challenge is 2 guys out in the throne room, 4 people on the inside.
Well, that's how a lot of people are running it now.
To be honest with you, Dan. The way that the challenge mode works out for Gauntlet, that's the way my raid team has been doing it since day one.
Yeah,
because we automatically thought, okay, if there's 4 plates and we just stay in here, that's easy. If you are moving along with your runner, that's a little bit more difficult. We could see that being a challenge, so we've been practicing that since the first time we got in there.
Yeah,
I like that. Yeah.
So those 4 orbs at the end. I keep going back to those 4 orbs, thinking, is that what we're gonna have to do?
That would make sense, honestly, because usually challenge is optional. It doesn't add new mechanics or anything like that.
Right.
It's something that's already existent in the experience, and it can be done both in normal and prestige. So it would make sense if it was to make sure all 4 of those orbs got collected every time there was a damage phase.
Yeah. Yeah. I haven't even done any challenge modes yet. I haven't touched it, sadly, but soon I hope to dive into it and complete those challenge modes.
Because you're playing COD all the time.
When the servers work, it's actually a pretty fun game.
It was the game he accidentally pre-ordered, guys. Just remember.
That's
accidentally pre-ordered it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know Sony takes your money right away on PS4 because I'm an Xbox guy. So Microsoft usually waits 10 days before the game launches. Sony right away. So I just wanted to play the beta on PS4 because it came out first. Sony took my $100 because I just clicked on the first edition I saw. Yeah, it was a sad day. It's okay though. It's okay. It's okay.
Now you're stuck with COD. Now you have to. You have to play it now.
I want to play it enough so I make sure I got my money's worth. You know. Yeah.
So you're just playing. Are you just like sadly just playing it? Just like, oh my god, I just Is it like you're in a cubicle of your own making? Did you make your own cubicle, Jay?
Yeah, I did. It's fun. It's fun, but back to Destiny. Oh yeah.
I will say though, with COD, the things like prestige is things that we actually need in Destiny.
Absolutely.
Yes.
To work towards and grind towards, because I like balance in the game. Like I like where things are headed towards trying to create a nice balance for PvP, and I would rather them break PvE with interesting stuff and then add grindy cosmetics for PvP and actually the whole game, honestly. But if there was things to work towards in PvP that doesn't involve ranked, then it would be grindy prestige like emblems and stuff.
Yeah.
So
I just, if I can wish one thing and wake up tomorrow and it happened, I think it would be completely separating PvE and PvP as far as, weapon balancing and how weapons perform.
Yep.
Like I would love to have guns in PvE just do like badass devastating things.
Hell
but
yeah.
we won't have that because of the way their philosophy behind how those two things are tied.
I will say, like, in the sandbox as it is right now, this is actually a really good base sandbox to be like, okay, all these weapons play nice with each other in PvE and PvP. And then I know this is not going to happen with DLC, but it'd be awesome if the future weapons that do get added broke PvE, so we could have some crazy powerful experiences. But we have these base weapons that work for PvP that are balanced.
Yeah.
Or everything is balanced around those weapons for PvP.
Yeah, but do you think the PvP community would kind of get a little upset with that? Like, hypothetically speaking, let's say we have this one exotic that has this exotic perk that when you shoot an enemy and it's a critical shot, it's similar to Firefly, except it's like a horizontal linear explosion. So it just boom, just wipes everything out.
Okay.
Do you think the PvP community would be like, well, that gun is great in PvE, but we can't use that in PvP, so we don't give a shit about it? Like, you're neglecting us.
I don't.
You know what I mean?
I think the people who really enjoy the PvP wouldn't mind it. I think they'd be okay with it. But there would definitely be some people who would be like, "Oh, why doesn't my perk work in PvP? Oh, this is garbage. What? Come on, why can't I have these one-hit kills back?"
So my question is, do you guys think we will ever get a prestige level system for PvP or a ranked system? Because the way this game is built, it doesn't seem like it's really leaning toward the competitive side right now.
Right.
It's unbelievable that it's crazy that you say that, Jay, because they want to make this game as user-friendly as possible.
Exactly.
At the same time, they said, you know what? No more 6v6 PvP. It's 4v4. We're gonna make it. We're gonna make it more competitive, more sweaty. So on one end, you're telling me that you've designed this so everybody can play. But at the other end, you're making these changes that are completely conflicting your ideology within the universe. It's like, I think what they need to do is just pick one and run with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I made this comment. I was just talking with my other friends about this, and I would not be opposed to this type of game structure, selling Destiny in two different versions: a PvE version and a PvP version. Make them both like $40 or $50. If you want them both, get them both, but you don't have to buy them both. Every game that comes out is so focused on making sure that they cater to both communities, and I know why. It's because they want to make more money. But think about how amazing games could actually become if they said, okay, we're going to create two separate SKUs. One is directed towards people who like playing PvE. One's directed towards multiplayer.
Yeah.
Why can't I have my chocolate and my peanut butter in the same place?
Yeah, well, you can buy both games.
But I only have $60. I won't.
Well, then get a job. I mean, what do you?
My dad already works 2 jobs to deal with my addiction.
Okay, well then do your homework. so you don't have to go through that.
Oh
well, I'm out of school.
Then get another job.
About that?
Get 2 jobs.
I'm 13.
I'm 13. I'm out of school. I dropped out.
I think.
I think personally, I would prefer them to perfect what they have. Like, I hear you on the two sides, being able to have a really great PvE and then a separate title that's a really great PvP. But some of the magic of Destiny is that you can go into a raid and then you go into PvP. And obviously that's not the case right now because they took away 6v6. But that was some great experiences. You could go into a raid, be like, that was fun. What should we do? let's go play, Control as a team, as a raid team. We just got done killing minions of the darkness. Now let's go kill people who are trying to raid also. I think in its best form, it could exist, and they can coexist correctly if Bungie decides to make those choices. And the question is, are they going to go down that path? Are they going to be willing to balance PvP and then break PvE instead of trying to balance both of them together? Yeah. And they really, in a lot of ways, they need to break them apart, but they're not showing any signs of wanting to break them apart.
Yeah.
No way. And I don't know. Maybe that's the thing that's holding this game back from being this tremendous, product, is that one design philosophy.
Is it the one where it's like the game is both PvE and PvP? Like you go from PvE to PvP? Is that what you guys are saying? Like, how can I say it? Oh wait, can you guys explain? Yeah. You guys understand what I'm trying to say, right?
The mechanic where everybody's in the same pool. It's just one side everybody fights, and the other side everybody shoots the things that are against you.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of problems would be solved if they just separated the two systems. Made balanced PvE, balanced PvP, PvP. Keep those two things separate. But right now, there's definitely an intersection. There's an overlap between those two subsets.
Yeah, a lot of things are boring in PvE because of the balance for PvP.
Yeah, and a lot of things, and a lot of things in D1. A lot of PvE things in D1, they were greatly affected by the design changes in PvP.
Yep.
And I mean, as a predominantly PvE player, that pissed me off a little bit. I was like, why is PvP dictating the way I play in PvE?
Yeah, I completely agree. Vex Mythoclast was a super powerful weapon, and then also was super powerful in PvP, and they got nerfed because of that.
Yeah.
And then it became a joke.
Because they wanted to make it one world. Like, it's going to be hard. I think it's going to be hard for them to separate the two. It's just going to be hard for them, I think.
Well, I mean, they're not going to do it, especially not with this game, because it's already made. But that, I mean, when, if you rewind the clock on both of our podcasts, you can hear people saying, I hope they separate PvE and PvP. And then the game came out, and they didn't. Yeah. So it would be nice to hear somebody from Bungie go, okay, here's why we didn't do it, because maybe their argument and their design choices, if I heard those, it would make so much more sense than what I'm thinking right now.
Well, that's kind of what I was talking about in the beginning of the podcast when I was saying that they marketed the game as a complete experience for the Destiny universe, and in reality, it's the beginning of an experience that's going to last for at least 3 years. And that's the problem with their marketing versus what they actually want to do with the game and how they're going to evolve it over the next few years. And I as a company, Bungie is very secretive, so they're obviously not going to be like, well, here's the roadmap, guys. Get hyped.
Slide it into my
what we got planned. Yeah, they're not going to do that. So they're going to let us just be like really upset and disgruntled for a while until they're suddenly, like next week, they're going to drop that stream and be like, this is what's coming in Curse of Osiris.
Yeah, I hope it's not. I hope they don't show a lot.
Same.
But then again, they may have to show a lot to bring back those players who left.
Right? Yeah. That's the thing though. Like people are interested in Destiny, and while yes, the current Destiny 2 experience is lackluster for a lot of people because they miss the grind.
Yeah.
They're going to want to play more Destiny because it's a very unique experience. There is no other title out right now that offers what Destiny offers.
No, they have no competition.
They have no competition. Exactly.
None.
Like
And could you imagine if there was another game out there if there was another game like Destiny out on the market right now, that would force Bungie to start making hardcore decisions, I think, on a more fast or a quicker timeline.
They'd have to react faster, for sure.
Exactly. Right now, they don't give a shit. I don't want to say they don't give a shit. Yeah. I don't want to say that.
Yeah.
But in reality, there's nothing forcing them to kind of, start making these choices because there's nothing out there that can compete with this.
I think what's going on is that they're overly concerned about their decision making, and it's affecting them. It's making it. When you look at Warframe, they're willing to do these like dev streams and reveal a lot of information about what they're working on. Granted, the game is free to play, and they own their assets, you know. So it's a different situation, but still there can be things that you can look at that are similar. And if they have competition that's heavy, they're going to have to then adapt quicker and be able to make those decisions faster and be more forthcoming with it.
Absolutely.
You know, if there is something else to go after, to work towards, they're going to lose some of their their
competition breeds excellence.
Yep. But as it is right now, when the DLC drops, is going to be a bunch of people who are going to be very excited about playing new Destiny content, and there's going to be a large portion that blow through it really fast and then move on to another game.
Yep.
Yeah. So let's actually talk about the first stream that's coming up. So it's going to talk about the story of Curse of Osiris. And in the most recent TWAB, did they kind of hint at what they're going to talk about with raid content? I'm trying to find the line now. I just had it when they were talking about guided game
raid content.
Yeah. Yep. It was when they were talking about the changes that are going to come to guided games. In the TWAB, it says guided games will support the new Nightfall and raid content you'll find in Curse of Osiris. And then in parentheses, it says, and you'll learn more about that next week on our first live stream. So is that kind of hinting at that they're going to talk about the new raid content in the first live stream?
I hope not, man. Like, I want to be completely surprised.
Yeah. But then again, it is something that's like, it's a hot topic right now in the community of what this could mean.
Of course, because how do you define how do you define raid content?
Because this is the first
What is
time
their
we've ever heard
definition of
them use that terminology. We've always heard them say new raid or replayability with the end game that was for PoE.
Yeah.
So new raid content, a lot of people are thinking, oh, just brand new armor or something. Some people are thinking, oh, raid content that could be VOG returning content, that could be I could just go on and on. But like, so I'm really curious to see what this is, but you guys don't want them to show it off next week.
Well,
right? Tefty?
I wouldn't mind them to just like rip off the Band-Aid and be like, okay, there's some stuff coming and we can confirm or deny that a brand new raid is coming. So check that off the list. And then kind of
they could
lead. Yeah. Like they could guide us a little bit and say, set some expectations. Cause right now we have like wild expectations, and they need to tame those a little bit in the community.
Yeah, I think I'm happy to see that they are going to acknowledge it, but I don't want them to show whatever the raid content is. Like let us see that, but I would like to know, just for the sake of my Twitter account, what it could be.
For the sanity of the community.
Yeah,
let's have a
my
little
sanity.
Distinction.
Hey, Destiny Tracker, where's that new video on that new?
If I ever see one more tweet about if I'm on Bungie's payroll, I'm going to lose my mind.
Hey, Jay, you can tell me right now. This is a secret. How many figures are you making from Bungie right now?
6.
6, or is it 7? You can stop me. 8, 9.
But yeah, so I'm really excited to see what this live stream is going to bring, and also it says a new Nightfall. So could that mean one new strike? Because they did say the new Nightfall. So
I mean, I think that's that's a safe assumption.
Yeah.
You know,
is that
I mean,
new strike.
Yeah, a new Nightfall would mean like it's not Nightfall. It's just, I guess it is one strike.
New Nightfall kind of signifies like a new encounter experience, like taking the current strikes in addition to possibly a new strike, and then making some, like, shifting the Nightfall towards a different direction or a new direction.
Oh, I didn't see it that way either. Could change the Nightfall. Yeah, I could see that. All right, so let's. Oh, yeah.
No, I was gonna say, am I the only one that's like not excited about the Nightfall structure the way it is right now? Like, it's always like one of the 4 time things, and then one of the 4 like little things that they just add on.
Right.
I used to like
limited.
Yeah, like I used to like it when I woke up and it was solar burn or what was another like popular one that was fun to do?
Rainbow burn.
Yeah, rainbow burn or light switch or juggler or something like
Arc.
that. Like
light switch.
Yeah.
On the goal.
That's where I was going with it. Yeah.
Those damn thralls, man.
And juggler. And it was year 2 and you didn't have a Fatebringer.
Oh.
Yeah, but I mean, it just seems like the Nightfall. It's more like it's a. It's not. I don't want to say job, but it's more like
it's harder for people
we're
to
bored as
solo
hell. Let's just do this real fast.
It comes down to the reward structure again. Like they're giving us loot, and it is a lot of loot, but it all comes from what feels like a similar place. And so there's no distinction of like, oh, if I run this week's Nightfall, I might get that special thing that only drops from this week's Nightfall because it's on Nessus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like that's what it's missing. Like we need those very. They have a lot of great content in the game, and just no distinction as to what you're going to get aside from meditations and the Vanguard stuff. You know, if you want Curtain Call, you run some strikes, but after you get the Curtain Call, it's like, well,
yep, got that.
Why would I run strikes again?
Mm-hmm.
Aside from enjoying the content.
Oh yeah, like they're fun to do, except Exodus Crash, but there's no. That's a painful strike.
Watching the loot, pop out of the chest in unlimited frames is one of the prettiest things I've ever seen.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It's so nice.
I don't think I've seen an exotic pop out yet on PC.
I can't remember if I have or not.
I know I haven't. I'm only like 219 power.
Loser.
I'm playing COD, trying to get my money's worth.
In a cubicle of his own sadness.
Yeah. So let's talk guided games. So first, what is your opinion on that system? First, Dan, I'll throw it over to you.
I'm sorry. I was stuck in a cubicle of my own confusion. What?
What is your opinion on guided games?
I've still yet to run a guided game personally.
Okay.
It's just I've been running with my clan. Yeah. I haven't been we've been getting newer members and stuff there, so I haven't really had the opportunity to. Mm-hmm. And so I look forward to doing it, but from what I hear, the
changes
it's so spotty with necessarily who you get in. I hear talk. What was it? Was it Grenader Jake? Some people were impersonating him and his clan.
Oh yeah,
and
that was bad.
I didn't know
that.
Yeah,
they were impersonating him and then being real shitty towards everybody that they're carrying through.
Lame.
So
wow,
yeah, it's just I've heard so many things like that, and it's well, I mean, maybe I'll just post things on the 100 for when I want new people, and then they just come through that. Maybe my clan doesn't necessarily need a score, because who knows if somebody's going to try to troll and be like, they didn't help me at all, but I got that callus. So
yeah,
I don't know. To me, it doesn't necessarily work the way they intended it, from what I'm hearing.
Yeah. Tefty, have you run any guided games?
I haven't. Not a single one. I should try one. I should also launch one to try to help some people and see what the experience is. I've only heard mixed results across the board. Some people getting into ones where there's literally a language barrier. Somebody, they're Portuguese. How are you gonna do a raid when you literally can't communicate?
Tefty, you don't speak Portuguese?
As a streamer, how could you not be multilingual? Yeah. This is unbelievable.
Unsub.
Yeah, unsub, unfollow, on everything. Yeah, it's weird. I think I don't know what it is with Bungie's communication thing. I feel like they're extremely sensitive post Halo about any kind of toxicity that could possibly come from their game, which is extremely ironic, given how the community reacts to a lot of things. And the guided games is kind of like an attempt to open some of those doors, when really they should just put in an LFG in the game and let people sort out who's an asshole and who's a nice person by themselves.
I will admit. Oh, sorry. If you're gonna say something.
No, I mean that's basically it. It's just trying to make guided games be this safety net for people to not get offended from somebody whose goal is to be an asshole online is never gonna really work out. in the long run.
Yeah.
Like,
so sometimes you have to let that weed itself out.
And it will. It will. So I don't, whatever.
Like, I will admit, I would try out guided games for Leviathan Raid, but you have to sit in orbit until you find a team. And I'm not sitting there for 40 plus minutes looking at a screen.
Well,
that's the other huge thing I've heard is that like the wait times are ridiculous. Yeah.
Like, there needs to be an incentive for people to become guides to do guided games, right? Like, you should, like, you get a cool emblem, but it should be maybe a powerful engram weekly, maybe, or just something along those lines. Or checkpoints. I know they talked about that in a TWAB this week as to why they don't have checkpoints, because they don't want checkpoints dealing. But again, I think that would not the checkpoint stealing, but if they had checkpoints in it, I think people would go out and actually complete more guided games, right?
Yeah, that's another thing in there that they're trying to protect people from being assholes, and it's like,
but
just let them weed it out. Yeah.
Like, what's the difference between doing that on the Bungie forums and in game, right?
Yeah.
Like, I have people when I LFG just checkpoint steal all the time. Oh, I have to go make food. I'm like, bro, you just joined my game. Like
I gotta take a shower.
Yeah.
This Scrabble match is really, really heating up.
Yeah.
Oh man.
JRM, so I know you actually completed one guided game, right? It was
I've done a bunch. I've done a bunch.
Right, so
I did it on both sides.
Experience?
I was the guide and I was the seeker. You have a lot of fun as a seeker, but you make more money as a guide.
Oh my god.
Here's what it is. You ready? If you're a guide, guided games is perfect because you don't have to wait. It's less than a minute, maybe 2 minutes. You know?
Wow.
The massive misstep with this system they have is the fact that if you're a seeker, I'm on PC right now. I will go to the director. I will go to the Nightfall. I will go to guided games, select mode. I'm seeker, 14-minute wait. Now, I don't have a problem waiting 14 minutes if you allow me to do other activities while I'm waiting, and that was a massive misstep. So the problem is there's not enough guides to meet the needs of the seekers. So there and listen, that is not Bungie's not going to be able to solve that problem because you're relying on the community to want to do this guided stuff when you have zero incentive for that person to do it.
Yeah. Now,
what I've found guided games to be really good at is finding that third person if I want to do a Nightfall.
Yeah.
You know? So, like I said, I've been on both sides of the argument. I've never had a bad experience. Everybody that I've played with, it's been enjoyable. One thing I tell you that doesn't happen: nobody invites you to a party. Right. I've never been invited to someone's Discord or anything like that. I think this is the community's way. Given the structure that it is, it's kind of like this is the shittiest matchmaking system you could have ever created. So we're just gonna exploit it. So so not being able to play other things while you're waiting for a team to join up with you, like I said, if you're the seeker, is a massive misstep. Because like you said, Jay, I'm not going to sit there, hit OK, find me a raid team, and I have to wait 45 plus minutes. And notice it doesn't go above 45. It says 45 plus. That could be 90. That could be 120. That could be 40. And it could be 46 minutes. You have no idea. So I don't know. I compare it to like a government project. In theory, on paper, it looks great. Implemented, it sucks.
Yeah.
So when this was listed as a thing, like kind of the way that I hoped that it would work was that like you would post. So say we still had the bounty board, the giant bounty board, right? That like you could actually post like an LFG game to be like, hey, I'm looking for this. And then you'd be contacted, like you could go out in the field, be contacted when a group amassed for that event. And that way you actually had a place in the tower where these things could be posted instead of like where you would go and get your bounties and stuff.
Dan, I really thought they would have set this up similar to how the structure is set up, or the framework is set up on the 100.io. I thought, man, if they could take what they learned from the community and implement that into the game, it will be perfect. They did none of that.
Yeah.
Have you guys played
that's a sad,
Division?
That's a bad misstep, man.
Have you guys played?
I played Division.
A little.
Have you guys used the LFG in there, where you just
been a long
roam
time
up to a laptop? You just it's actually really cool. You just walk up to a laptop, you find the activity you want to do, and you back out. Like, you can't leave that little social hub, and then it finds you a team, and you could join the team, and you just join right in. I think that was a really cool system, and I would have loved to see that in D2. But again, when guided games, I just don't want to sit in orbit for so long just staring at my ship that I can't even move.
Yeah, it's such a misstep. I mean, you could have easily been farming public events and, you know, just doing patrols and stuff. And then, the guided game's up, hit accept to take it, you know, like you're ready in the queue.
Tefty, I think you nailed it when they're trying to create this safe bubble for everybody to play in. And I don't disagree with that design philosophy. I mean, you don't want to get into a team where all they do is criticize you and all that shit. Like, I get that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're not going to be you will never be able to control what people think or say or do.
That's
all right?
true.
Yeah.
And I hear that being echoed with Sony and their whole philosophy design behind why they don't want crossplay. They want to keep their gamers safe, and it's like, hey, dickheads, did you ever go into a Call of Duty lobby? Well, those 12-year-olds make
I've been
me
in a
feel
COD
bad
lobby
myself, and I got 2 advanced degrees in mathematics, and it makes me feel like a piece of shit.
Well,
I get over it.
This is also the same argument that's going on all across the internet with Twitter and like what people have been posting on there. And so like at a certain point, I think it comes down to letting the platform, like, giving the available tools to everyone and allowing the platform to evolve in a positive manner with the community that's involved in it.
And you're right, Dan. And positivity will always win. Because eventually the people that are bitching and complaining and, you know, and being that loudest voice on Twitter will eventually go away, because nobody's going to listen to you anymore, bro.
Exactly. They get exhausted eventually.
Yeah, and they just give up, which is and they find another, you know, game or another subset population to integrate themselves into, and they start the process all over again.
Yeah.
You know, and over time, Destiny, you know, Vanilla Destiny, you had all the naysayers, and we're experiencing that now with Destiny 2 Vanilla. Over time, the game got better, right? And the community got better. I thought the community was at its peak, greatest time, halfway through the Taken King. And the reason why I'm saying that is because you had the Taken King come out, then they went radio silent. Bungie went radio silent. They went on vacation. Everybody's flipping out, right? You know, this bullshit. You know, you need to start talking to us more. Then they came out with the April update, and that really got people like, oh man, there's quest lines and all this cool shit. And then like a month or two later, they announced Rise of Iron, and that's when I would look at my news feed on Twitter or my podcast feed, and it was like new episode. I mean, everything they were firing on all cylinders at that moment in time. I hope they learned from that little, you know, portion of time there, and they do that again. So this first DLC, we're gonna see what happens. You know, I'm not expecting them to change everything, because it does take time. But what I am expecting is change.
Yeah.
You know,
it's going to set the tone.
Yeah, you're
set
absolutely
the tone
right.
for the future of D2.
Now, we brought up this question last week, J-Ram, but what are the most important changes you think have to come first? And I said it has to be an incentive to do prestigious activities. I think that's something that's super important that must come first. And Curse of Osiris.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Hey, Jay.
Yes.
Do you know what gives you that?
What?
I'm just gonna ask.
No. Oh,
I'm gonna say that it's GamerSups, because our friends at GamerSups, they support us, and I'm so glad that they support us and our family that we've built here on Destiny Tracker. Are you lagging behind the sticks and in the Crucible? Never fear! Our friends at GamerSups have the drinks you need to keep you competitive. They've restocked their flavors of fan favorites, Dragon Fruit Punch, and Acai Berry, and even added a mysterious and delicious new flavor, OP Orange. Use our code DTR and get 10% off. OP Orange.
OP.
Use our code DTR to get 10% off these delicious drinks. Thank you all, and you can go get back into it.
That was smooth.
The Infinity went to
I
the
tried my
Holtzman
favorite.
School of
That
Broadcasting.
was smooth.
I tried real hard.
That was
that
really
was smooth.
smooth.
I'm interested in Dragon
Fruit.
Dragon Fruit.
Dragon Fruit Punch is really good. It's one of my favorite gamer
That
stuff.
Sounds delicious.
It's
My
really
God.
good. Oh yeah, but nice segue, Dan. I enjoyed that.
I'm working on still things. Everyone.
You're trying new things. Yeah.
Dan got his broadcasting degree from the Holtzman School of Broadcasting.
Holtzman School of Ad Reads.
It's better than Holt.
It was smooth, man. I was
Yeah.
like,
What we need to do is get Holtzman and Dan in here, and then we'll have them do like an ad read competition.
Yes.
Had it off? You want to have an ad off? Let's
Ad
do it.
off.
Add-on.
that all sounds amazing.
But Tefty, so yeah, what changes that they listed from a few weeks ago in the 12 do you think are most important that have to come first? Or just personally, what changes would you like to see that first in Curse of Osiris?
I mean, it really comes down to endgame stuff. The reasons to want to grind content. They've got great content already. Like, a lot of people say that there's nothing to do in D2. There is, in fact, a lot of things to do. It's
Exactly.
just your desire to do them is very limited, and they really have to add the desires, the carrots on the stick. And I in the perfect world, they're going to do that in Curse of Osiris, but I don't think that they were prepared for the type of response that they were going to get with D2. So I think we're going to get a 50-50. I think there's going to be some things in there they're going to be worth grinding for and going after. But I don't think they're going to be able to fully respond and be like, all right, we heard you. Here's heroic strikes, heroic lost sectors, reasons to get your 9th, 10th better devils, and then grind all this new content as well and keep it going. I don't think it's going to be fully there yet with the DLC.
Yeah. I just think that some of the decisions that management made are the reasons why endgame isn't like the way it was in D1, really, where it's just tokens. Like this game has a lot of content to do, but there's no incentive to do all the content, and I think that's an issue. Like,
dude, tokens are just not fun, man.
They're not like
turning tokens just is so uneventful.
Exactly. Like, let us purchase things, which I'm glad that they are in season 2, that we're going to be able to purchase things from Lord Saladin, and I think they said in faction rallies. I don't
Possibly, yeah.
I believe so, or no.
I think it was kind of an open-ended conversation. Like they were saying, these are the things that they're thinking about, so you can purchase with your tokens because we've heard you and all that. I want to underscore though that the leveling up to 265 was full of options. Yeah, like every piece of content that you could do had interest because up to 265, everything was rewarding you with gains, and that was a fun experience. Post 265 is where it's fallen flat. Is that they went back to kind of like the basics that they had in Destiny 1, and then got rid of the things that they added that were grind associated. And that's what they need to. That's what they need to get back into. They need to figure out. Like,
this may be an unpopular opinion, but I had more an incentive to play Destiny during Taken King, like between Taken King and April update, than I do now. And that was only one raid, really. And I was grinding for a cloak. And now in this game, I'm not really grinding for anything, because if I don't get it from Callus, I just go to the sweeper bot and probably get it there, or from a clan engram. I get it from there. So I will admit, there are a lot of pathways for you to reach. What is the max? 305 power? Yeah, 305. Yeah. But again, power level doesn't mean anything in this game.
That's a huge one right there. Like, why hit 305?
Anything. Exactly. And that's why I try to
why hit 305 aside from doing a prestige raid or nightfall, which also gives you stuff that isn't going to help you kill anything faster. It doesn't even help you raid better. You just get some super glowy stuff and something on your head for a week. Yeah.
Well, I think a really good first step, if you were to ask, me, like, what do I want to see in the Curse of Osiris DLC, would be intrinsic perks on certain gear. There is none of that in this game right now.
Yeah.
If you told me that the arms, you know, dropped more heavy in the raid, I would grind my ass off to make sure I had them.
Hell yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
if you told me there was a set of boots that prevented silence from flipping me up in the air in the skull room, I would grind my ass off to get them.
We all would.
Yeah.
How about a set of boots that avoided detection from the dogs?
There you go.
Ooh.
You know, I mean, there are all these, you know, there's, and I think maybe the community was not really efficient or effective at, you know, coming out and saying like, where are these things? Instead, they were just yelling as loud as they could from the top of the mountain, you know? And I just don't understand why they didn't include that stuff in D2. And that wasn't like a live team update. They had that in vanilla D1.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's,
you know, and it's like,
it really shocked me.
Like the only thing I can think of is the reason why they took those things out is because, and I hate making this argument, but maybe it was because the casual player would bitch because they don't have the time nor the friends to go into the raid and get those things. So they just said, you know what? Yeah. Let's just make all gear. That way, you know what I hate bringing that argument, but is there a better argument, Teft?
There's not necessarily a better argument, but I just don't want to think that Bungie was like, let's make it as casual as possible, so we're going to remove raid perks or gear perks and all that, because they still put them in there. It's just a really mundane version. You know, there's only 3 or 4 hunter sets that have recovery, and so you're relegated to only going after those sets as a hunter for your recovery. And the system is actually still there, just in a incredibly rudimentary form that nobody cares about. Because I don't care about getting prestige gear for my hunter, because it's probably mobility, and I'm never going to wear that. You know, I don't. I feel like it's just a design philosophy choice that they wanted to make, where they felt the backlash of D1 had way too much grind, and people complained about how much grind D1 had. So they approached D2 with this concept of, let's make it less grindy and more approachable for all gamers, essentially, to get into it. It's still Destiny. It still has that feel of the gunplay and supers and so on and so forth. But now there's less of that grind, and less of the armor matters in that sense with perks and stuff. So the confusion level, it's almost like they wanted to take away the confusion as opposed to the grind. Because that's really what happened, is all those perks and stuff, for a lot of people, were kind of like, wait, what is, you know, inversion or whatever the hell, you know, like what do these perks do? I don't understand what this is going to do for my character. But that was the things that the hardcore Destiny fan loved. And so having all that removed, even out of the raid, that was a big shock. And I think that was one of those things where they made a big mistake on, is taking those out.
And I'm not saying casual equals bad. I'm saying casual equals casual. It just means somebody that doesn't play the game as much as what you know, like what you would, Teft, or myself. I get on the game probably 2-3 hours a night.
Right.
And is that considered hardcore? I have no idea. You know, I mean, compared to you, I would say no.
Do you consider yourself hardcore?
Yes, I do consider myself hardcore, because I tend to look at everything within the game.
I'd say that's where your answer is.
You know what I mean?
If you see yourself as a hardcore player, then that's probably where you are.
Yeah. So hardcore. I mean, casual doesn't equate to time spent invested. Then I think it's a good.
Definitely
not. Maybe we should define that.
The other thing too is that even casual, if you are, let's say, a quote unquote casual, and you've just hit level 20 and you're like 230, you know, and you've been playing on console, and you bought it day one, you know, like this is some crazy casual to be on that level. You still get excited to see what other people have and to know that exists down the road. Yeah. So having something that is grindy or worth grinding towards makes those people think, oh, that's really cool that there's something that I could maybe one day grind towards. Like those the skins in COD that are, what are they called? Like
diamond.
There's diamond, and then
gold,
they had like
there's gold, diamond, and there's another one.
Yeah.
There's a purple one that's all, you know, space cosmic that they had.
Dark matter from Black Ops 2.
Dark matter skins. I saw those and I was like, there's a little bit of me that was like, that'd be really cool to grind for all those. There's no way I'm gonna grind for those. I'm not a COD player. But there was a little bit of me that was like, oh man, that's badass.
Yeah. Yeah. But again, like back in January, February, March, listening to the Activision calls, like we knew this game was going to be made for the casual player. I've had, like, back then I was saying maybe we should lower our expectations of how this game is going to be as for hardcore players, because they kept stressing on those calls, like, we're targeting the players who left, we're targeting the casual players and things like that. So again, I can't really be too mad that this game is not for quote unquote the hardcore player, because we kind of didn't know. But if you told me this a year ago, we would be in this position with D2, I would not have believed you. Like, I don't mean that in a bad way, though.
If you told me a year ago that armor would matter even less in D2 than it did in D1, I would be like, no way.
Yeah. Like, power sounds so cool, and it doesn't mean anything. Like, they changed the whole light level system. Like, Luke Smith and his team changed the whole light level system in Taken King, and you felt powerful with that gear. But now in D2, you don't feel that, like, that powerful enough. So
265, 305, it still takes the same amount of bullets to kill the same enemy.
It does. Yeah. There has been many videos and tests on that. And he's right. It is. It's sad.
Yep.
Yeah. So let's move on in the TWAB. A big change for me actually is the new weekly reset changes are now taking place at 9 a.m. Pacific time and 12 p.m. Eastern, which is great for me because I wake up 4 a.m. and to tweet out, sir, and weekly reset changes. So now I get to sleep and, you know, actually enjoy my
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's your fault.
I mean, I wasn't really complaining about it. Like, I did start to get into the rhythm of waking up at like 4 a.m. and 5 a.m. to get ready for the weekly reset. But, you know, I'm happy to see it change now after thinking about it for a few hours. Yeah. I know all the YouTube creators are now happy that they don't have to wake up at 4 and 5 a.m. just to make a weekly reset video and a Zer video. Dado was so happy on Twitter about it. Yeah, so is that a big change for you guys, or it's just like it doesn't really matter?
I was at work either way, so it'll be good. I'm still gonna come home.
You're still gonna come home. It's still gonna be the same. Yeah, it's not. But I will change because I don't know if you guys. Well, you guys should remember when Rise of Iron actually launched. It was like 5 a.m. and they had a pretty of a bad launch. Like the servers was crazy. So I'm guessing they're changing this because, you know, Curse of Osiris. They're hoping for it to be highly anticipated. So I'm guessing. Oh yeah, it's gonna be. Yeah, Dan. Sorry.
They're just aiming at like an average time for a start. I mean, if my job was like, hey, we're going to open at 5 next week. I need you to be here at 4 a.m. But then, oh wait, hold on. Trials of Osiris is coming up. Well, we're gonna push that back till about 1 p.m. Eastern. Is that fine with you? Like, I would go out of my mind just trying to keep my schedule together.
So does this mean that Trials and Iron Banner are going to launch at 12 p.m. now? Because, you know, Trials launches later in the day.
12 p.m. Eastern. They would make more sense to me. Like you're just creating a blanket time.
Yeah, I like that because all of them are at work anyway. So and they want to make sure that their servers are good. So I see that. Yeah, I like that change actually.
Yeah, I'm personally gonna miss 1 a.m., 2 a.m. resets because I would usually stream up until then or a little bit after. That's true. Be able to get to see some stuff, you know, see what Zer has and call it a night. Yeah. So that's a little bit of a bummer for me. It does make me think, oh man, I'm gonna be sleeping when every reset happens.
Yeah. But
anytime Zer shows up, I'm sleeping, and then I'm gonna have to wake up early for the DLCs and stuff for when they get launched, which is no big deal on that one. But yeah, every week I'd get excited about seeing reset.
That's true.
Now I'm not gonna see reset. I'll be sleeping.
Yeah. But we can all agree that it's good for the game, right? Yeah.
It's good for the developers, so they can fix things that break.
They can fix things right away, yeah. Because who remembers when weekly reset for the Nightfalls for the past few weeks have been a little wonky.
Or Trials being active for like several hours.
Oh, I remember that. I remember getting tweets at like 5 a.m. in the morning. I'm like, I don't know if Trials is live. I'm still in bed. Like, why is Trials live, now? Jay? Why?
All week long is Trials now? What? This is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's the TWAB for this week. They are preparing for their first live stream, guys, on Wednesday, November 15th. They're gonna tell about the new stories, and maybe we'll see raid content. Maybe we won't see raid content. But
I think we're definitely going to.
Yeah, I don't want to see the gameplay. just tell us we're getting a brand new raid or not. Also, last segment, they're doing promotions again, guys. This time it's with Pringles. If you guys want to go buy some, yes, it's double XP. Double XP Pringles, yeah. Double
XP Pringles?
I fucking love Pringles, man.
It's just like the way the Pop-Tarts work. But this time is with Pringles. So they have. I saw this a few weeks ago, but then I didn't want to like report on it because I'm like, I need like hardcore evidence, even though I saw a photo of it and everything. But yeah, guys, it's final.
Hold on. Jay, when does that release? Is that like right now?
I think it's live right now. Yes, I think it is.
Okay.
I haven't done all my homework on it, but it should be live right now.
If you pick those up and then the Clarion call next weekend.
Glad you brought that up. The Clarion call.
Weekend.
Yeah.
Quadruple XP? Or no,
I don't think they're stacked.
Where's the math professor? What exactly is that stack?
Well, what is it? Double XP?
Double XP and double XP.
On top of double XP.
And then toss a medallion on there for 20% extra.
Yeah.
Do you think that it was, knowing Bungie, it probably will stack. But do you guys think it will stack or no?
I don't know. It depends on, I mean, there are certain things that didn't stack in the game as far as damage output.
That's true. We'll just have to wait and see.
Jay, I can't, I mean, I'm looking for this right now, and the only thing I can find really is a Reddit post in which somebody posted a picture.
Yeah, that's what so maybe it's not live yet. Maybe it's not live, but
did anybody else know about these? My son found them at a local Walmart. Looks like it started today. Pringles, sour cream and onion, and then on the bottom it has Icor Rave, Mega XP, bullshit, you know.
Icor Rave, eating Pringles.
Loves Pringles, man. It was a long ride to get to IO. She had some Pringles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That IO depression kicks in, eating some Pringles.
Or maybe it goes live just in time for Curse of Osiris. I could see that.
I mean, if it's already in the store and somebody found it, I mean,
that's true. Yeah,
but
I have a Cade one right in front of me.
This picture doesn't. I mean, it looks like the photo looks like it was taken with one of those like Verizon flip phones from 1999.
I just put a link in chat for you guys to see. If you guys want to go ahead and click on that.
Oh man,
Facebook post. Yeah. But yeah, Pringles, look like they're doing a promotion for Pringles. I have no idea when it goes live. Maybe live now. Someone will let us know and correct us, most likely.
Yeah. I mean, I'm on the Pringle website, and I don't see anything.
Yeah, so yeah.
But I'm getting hungry now.
Usually, Bungie and Activision likes to announce these things before they actually go live, like they did.
It's only in Taipei for like 2 days.
Yeah. We'll see. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much, Tefty Teft, for joining us this week on our 53rd episode. Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Where can we find... Oh, wait, before we get to that, almost forgot our ending question. Almost forgot it. We always do an ending question here on the show.
Sounds good.
So,
you'll like it.
What is your favorite legendary weapon in the Destiny universe?
Ooh.
It could be from D1 or D2. If it is from D1, would you like to see it return in D2?
Let me think just a little bit before I confirm my answer.
J-Ram, do you have one?
Absolutely.
Go for it, man.
Absolutely. And of course, I always going to make it difficult. So my favorite Fatebringer, most versatile, Vision of Confluence.
Ah. All right. Great weapons. All right. Dan?
Dude, I want the zombie apocalypse. Just right on my hip. Just nuking Vex. Oh my god.
I think Holtzman would like that too.
Zombie Apoc was great.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. I don't know why no LMGs in Destiny 2.
Gold literally blew every single one of them up in the Destiny.
He blew up the archetypes.
Just the whole just that one.
All was forgotten. All knowledge of prior guns were forgotten.
Or just happening to turn into grenade launchers, every single LMG. I don't know.
Right.
It's weird that it's not in the... It's just weird.
What a terrible fairy godmother.
Yeah.
I gotta say... see, I was trying to think if there was anything else other than Fatebringer, but Fatebringer is the best because the versatility and then also hand cannons felt really good in year one. So you had the gun itself, the archetype, in the sandbox played really well, and then the synergy between the Firefly in D1 was super satisfying, and it's incredibly unsatisfying in D2, which is another weird thing that they did. And then that Outlaw, like proc and Outlaw along with the Firefly, was just fantastic. And then when you had a Nightfall that was arc damage, you could just go through, reload. Oh yeah, yeah, it was so good. Those were easily some of the best experiences right there. I'm looking forward to Destiny 2 bringing something that could challenge or take over. I don't want to see Fatebringer in Destiny 2. I want it to be something different.
Yeah. For me, I would love to see Ias Luna return, because I loved hand cannons back in D1. In D2, I'm not really using hand cannons. At least on console, I'm not. I'm just not really a fan of hand cannons on console. But on PC, yeah, hand cannon feels great. But there's no hand cannon that I really like, that I love. So I would like to see Ias Luna.
I tell you what,
it was. Yeah.
That Sunshot on PC is badass.
Okay, I totally forgot about Sunshot. I was thinking Legendaries.
It feels so good to shoot that.
Oh yeah.
Sunshot feels good. Dire Promise. Like there is Minuet 42 feels very good on PC.
I've seen a lot of people say that they like that on PC. I've yet to use it though.
Yeah, a lot of people will say Annual Skate. I think the Minuet is slightly more accurate. I recently got an Old Fashioned. That thing feels great. It just, hand cannons in general on PC feel good. They feel like where they should sit. So I hope that they merge the sandboxes and bring that over to console, because there's no reason console shouldn't feel great about hand cannons.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. Was not, yeah. All right. So again, thank you Teft for joining us this week. So where can we find you on social media? Sure.
I am on Twitter, Teft, Teft. I have a kind of an OG Twitter name. And then twitch.tv/TeftyTeft. That's where I stream typically every day unless I need a break. And I usually start my streams after 6 p.m. Pacific time at some point. Usually stream like about 8 hours a day on average. And I have a YouTube channel as well, but it doesn't get as much love nowadays. But you can follow me or subscribe on, just search Tefty and you'll see me on there as well.
All right, sweet. J-Ram.
J_Rambo9119 everywhere.
All right, Dan.
You can find me on Twitch under Danfinity, and you can find me on Twitter under DanFinitwitch. See what I did there?
Nice.
Alright guys, you can find me on Twitter at J_DTR and Destiny Tracker on Twitter at Destiny Track and on YouTube at Destiny Tracker. Alright guys, quick reminder, next week, November 18th, our Leviathan Raid Race. I'm super excited for this. 16 teams will go in, 1 will come out successful. I'm really, really excited for that. It starts at 4 p.m. Eastern here on our Twitch channel.
Oh,
Cool.
Can I do a quick shout out?
Yeah man, go for it.
2 quick shout outs. Hey, if you're a veteran and listening to this, thank you for your service.
Thank you.
And B, Lost Souls and Red Wing Girl were in the TWAB this week for their song Fragments of Time. If you can go check that out. That's the second video in the TWAB.
Huge shout out to them, yes. Alright. Alright guys, thank you guys so much for listening to the 53rd episode of the DTR podcast. My name is Jay, and we will see you all next week, guys. Bye!
Later.
Alright, are we good?